Alright, so this is a review of simple one-step equations. Remember, one-step equations, just what it says. We're only going to do one thing and one thing only. So remember, when we are solving for x or any other variable, the main goal is to always get it by itself. So when we get it by itself, we have the answer. So first, let's start off with a basic one. X plus 5 is equal to 20. So remember, we always have to do the opposite. So what's happening to the x? Well, what's happening to x is you're adding 5 to it. So x, or a number, plus 5 has to give you 20. So again, we always have to do the opposite. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So instead of adding 5, we have to subtract 5. So we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. So remember, that is the golden rule of algebra. What do you do to one side, you have to do to the other, no matter what. So the 5's cancel out. So you're left with x is equal to, then what's 20 minus 5? Well, that is 15. Now the beautiful thing about math, or at least algebra right now, you can always double check. So let's plug it in. So we're going to substitute 15 for x. So instead of writing x, we're going to write 15. So 15 plus, that's an ugly plus, 15 plus 5. Well, 15, hold 5 fingers in front of your face. So it's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. They both check out. They're both the same, so it means we did it correctly. So x plus 5 is equal to 20 means x is equal to 15. So you always have to look at the x and see what's going on, what's happening to it. So you always have to do the opposite. So let's move on to the next one. X minus 2 is equal to 4. Well, x minus 2. So we're saying a number, we subtract 2 from it, we get 4. So we subtracted 2, so we need to do the opposite of it. So the opposite of subtracting is addition. So we're going to add 2. But again, what do you do to one side? You do to the other. So it cancels out. So you have x is equal to 6. So again, we're going to double check. We're going to substitute the 6 for the x. So 6 minus 2. Well, stick 6 fingers in front of your face, take away 2, and you are left with 4. And that's it. You're done. This is 4, and that is 4, so we did it correctly. Good. So again, this is one step. That's all you have to do. So now a different one. You have 2x is equal to 6. Well, 2x. Now this is a little bit complicated. Well, not really, but 2x. So remember, 2x is the same thing as saying 2 times x. I know that's one thing I really didn't stress as much, but let's remember 2x means 2 times x. So now you are multiplying the x by 2. So now, again, we have to solve for x, so we need to do the opposite. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Hopefully you said division. So we're going to divide, again, this is division, divide both sides by 2. Now, so we're going to divide both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2, well, that always cancels out. Well, not really cancels out. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. But remember, we're lazy, we're mathematicians, we don't want to write the 1. So we just write x. Now 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we're going to double check. So we're going to substitute the 3 for the x. So now, it's not going to be 23. It's not 23. Remember, this is wrong. I'm going to laugh at you if you write this. Remember, because we said it's 2 times x. So it's going to be 2 times 3. Since x is 3, we have to do it. 2 times 3 is, hopefully you know your times tables. That's 6. Well, this is 6. This is also 6. So it means we did it correctly. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. We have 1/3 x is equal to 4. So now 1/3 x. Alright, cool. So 1/3 x again means 1/3 times x, and this is the same thing as saying x divided by 3. Okay, so we're going to do this two ways. Let's just do it this way first. So 1/3 x is equal to 4. Well, remember we said they're multiplying, right? So we have to multiply. We have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we're going to divide this side by 1/3 and divide this side by 1/3. Now, some of y'all always said to do this, which is fine. It is correct. But some of y'all do not know how to divide fractions. So when you divide fractions, so again, this is the same thing, top and bottom, so you cancel out. So now when you divide a fraction, remember you have to flip it and multiply it. So we flip the 1/3 and it becomes 3/1. A lot of y'all always get confused with this. So 4 times 3/1, 3/1 just means 3. 4 times 3 is just 12. Well, the answer is 12. Now let's do it this way. 1/3 times x is the same thing as saying x over 3 or x over 4. Now this is a little bit easier. So remember, this line means to divide. So what it's saying is x divided by 3 is equal to 4. So now, how do you get rid of division? Well, what's the opposite of division? You're going to say, hopefully you say multiplication. So we have x over 3 is equal to 4. So now we have to multiply both sides by 3. So now we just multiply. Remember, parentheses means to multiply. So then both cancels out. So you have x is equal to 12. Okay? So don't freak out when you have fractions. It's all the same stuff. So let's do a quick example. So go ahead, do these questions, press pause, write them down. So you're going to write these questions down, then press pause and then do them. Once you're done doing these 4 problems, you hit play, and then you're going to do and then you're going to look at the answers and compare your answers. Now don't forget to double check. Alright, so go ahead and press pause now. Alright, good. So you're done. So now let's see. We have x plus 8 is equal to -8. Okay, cool. So again, we are adding 8. So the opposite of addition was to subtract. So subtract 8. Subtract 8. So divide out. Alright, we put our total sign. So 8 minus 8 is 0. So that cancels out. So you're left with x is equal to -8 minus 8 is -16. If you're still having troubles with this, you're going to have a hard time. 5 minus x is equal to 2. Now this one's really simple. You can tell right off the bat it's 3. But just do the algebra way. So 5 minus x is equal to 2. So this is maybe a little bit confusing. It's 5 minus x. So what is the 5 doing? Well, the 5 is not really doing anything. The x is being subtracted from the 5. So we can rewrite this as -x plus 5 is equal to 2. Now this is the same exact thing. Remember, you can always do a plus negative. So like Gallego says, just add a dash and a line. Alright, so now we can see that the 5 is being added to the -x. So what's the opposite of addition? Well, that is subtraction. So you subtract 5 from both sides. So now you're left with -x is equal to -3. So now again, this is honestly like a two-step equation, but it's all good. So when we have -x is equal to -3. Remember, we want x, not -x. So how do you get rid of a negative? Well, we can't really add, so we can. Well, what times a negative is going to give me a positive? Well, another negative. So we multiply these two sides by negative, so we have to do the same thing here. Multiply those two sides by negative. Negative times a negative is a positive, gives you x. Negative 3 times negative 1, again, negative times a negative is a positive. So 3 times 1 is just 3. Good. Now next one, 4x. 4x. Alright, well, remember this means 4 times x. So what is the opposite of multiplication? Hopefully you said division. So you divide both sides by 4. So they cancel out. Let me put this down. So you have x is equal to, well, what's 24 divided by 4? Hopefully you said 6. And that's the answer. Alright, now we have x divided by 10. So what's the opposite? Again, what is the opposite of division? That is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10. Multiply both sides by 10. So we have x is equal to negative 1 times 10. That is negative 10. Now remember, we leave this answer as is because the x is a negative. The x is positive, and that's what we want. We don't care what the answer is, positive or negative or 0 or whatever. We don't care. So as long as x is positive, that's all we care about. So this is simple one step. We're going to do a couple of this week and the rest of the time. The next video is going to be two-step equations.